session. We are going to have an amazing time. We're going to talk about a variety of things. So make sure that you like and share this pouring session. And not only that, if you're on Facebook, tag a few of your friends. If you're on other social media platforms, send the link to your family and friends. I'm telling you, the sessions that we have, they are empowering, they're motivating, they're inspiring, and they're life-changing. Again, make sure that you share this upcoming podcast. Take care.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's podcast. I'm Lenora Lasser of Lenora Pours, and I'm super excited to be back with season 2 of Lenora Pours. And I'm also excited that I have a very, very, very special guest. I have Tiffany Jones with me on this evening. Hello, Tiffany.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us on tonight, Tiffany. And we already have some comments coming in. Let's see here. Jay is on, my godbrother. He said, yay, he's first. He's the first one to comment on season 2. So welcome, Jay. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Jay is from Augusta, Georgia, Tiffany.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Let Ed know that. He probably has a cousin. That may be his cousin or something.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Miss Renee is here. She said, here. Thank you so much, Miss Renee, for tuning in on tonight. My husband is on. Here we go. Yes, here we go. Season 2. We are ready. We are excited. Patricia Madden Washington. She said, hey, baby sis, I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, Patricia. Renee said, hi, Tiffany. Hey. And the one and only, the Mr. Edward Jones, your better whole, not your better half, your better whole. He's on tonight. Thank you so much, Edward, for tuning in. Marquetta Springer. She is on tonight. So everyone who's already tuned in, please make sure that you like, love, and share this podcast on tonight. I'm telling y'all, we are going to have an amazing time. Let's just first start by unwinding, because Tiffany, we know that you have a very, very, very busy life in real estate. So how was your day? Roderick is on too. He said, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. And Bridget. Hey, beautiful. Thank you. So go ahead.
My day was a little bit stressful as usual. I'm doing 5 million tasks at one time, and I'm trying to do my very best to take care of my clients who are in this crazy seller's market, who are attempting to purchase a home, but is just being unsuccessful because of the bidding wars. I'm doing some remodeling in my own home, and then, just being a wife and still doing those things that some wives, not all, cooking, cleaning, and just managing the household. So pretty busy. This is the first time I probably sat down all day.
I know. Same thing for me. Same thing for me. I've been busy all day long. Yeah. And I'm like, I got to hurry up. I got to hurry up and get to the house because I have my podcast tonight. And you were able to help me as well navigate through the life of real estate today, along with my awesome mentor and trainer, Megan Gerber. Got to give her a shout out on tonight's podcast as well. Roderick said, nice platform, sister-in-law. Thank you. We changed it up for season 2. And I have to give a shout out to Jay Dwayne Garnett. You see, he said, Georgia in the house. Because he's my graphic designer. He produced, he put together my graphics. So, yeah, they look really, really good. I'm loving the colors, just the vibrant colors. And if anybody know me, they know that I love colors. I love colors. So let's just go with this first question. Hey, thank you so much for joining, Regina. How did you get into real estate?
I honestly can't really tell you. So this is my second time around in real estate. My second discharge from the military, and yes, I have several. I relocated back to Fayetteville. So I have family here. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I said, well, let me give this real estate thing a try. They had a very affordable class that they held at FTCC. I think it was like 100 and some bucks. So I was like, this could be easy money. I don't necessarily need the money because I did have a spouse at the time. And so I went, did the class. They were very impressed with, my results as we were going through the class, and they said, you'll make it. And so I took the test
Wow.
and I started. But then the reliance on real estate became my source of income. And
Okay.
I wasn't making as much as everybody believes a realtor makes in the beginning.
Right.
So I did rejoin the military, but I just think it was, we saw new construction going up around the Fayetteville area. There was a big housing boom, and the imagery of you can make millions in real estate was a draw for me. So that's how I ended up in real estate the first time. The second time, because I talked about real estate so much, when I rejoined the Army, my husband and we would go and get in trouble looking at model homes and touring construction sites at night when we weren't supposed to.
Right.
He just thought that this would be something when we retired that we could do together.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
when he retired and we relocated to Fayetteville, he took the class and passed and started and was like, babe, don't you want to join me? And for years I said no. But
Oh my goodness.
no, I was like, no, I don't want to do real estate. I just want to sleep till noon and be one of those old retirees that doesn't do anything but get fat. But he
Okay.
convinced me to rejoin real estate, and I actually love it. I do get a whole lot more joy out of it now than I did when I first started.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. So, how was life in the military? Talk about life in the military because we got some other subjects that we're gonna unpack. And I know a lot of people was like, okay, Lenore said that she has a special guest on and she's gonna share her story, and we're gonna get to that part. But let's talk about life in the military. How was that being in the military?
For the first 18 years, I absolutely loved it. It
Okay.
became a family for me. I met so many amazing people. Some of them are on this podcast tonight. That just, when you join the military, my husband always says this statement all the time. Most people join the military because they either want to serve their country or they're running away. Definitely in my case, I was running away from Georgia. Everybody from Georgia, sorry, I ran away. And they became my family, that family that I absolutely longed for all my life. And I had some amazing duty stations, amazing friends, amazing soldiers. Throughout my career, my last assignment, I wasn't as happy with it, but I know I had an impact in the mentorship that I was able to provide. Those that I touched, I know I had an impact. But I was ready to retire. I absolutely was ready to retire. And I did 20 years active duty and 21 years active duty and 5 years reserve. So that's where the 26
Wow.
years comes from.
Wow. So you have a story, and thank you so much for your service. Jay said that he ran too, friend. He ran away from Georgia. And also Bridget said me too. So I'm thinking she's co-signing with you that she ran away from Georgia too. So you stated ran away from Georgia. So I'm sure that there were some things that took place
Yeah.
in Georgia.
Yeah. A lot of things
Memories.
take place
Yeah.
in Georgia.
Yeah.
Some
Memories.
good, some not so good.
Some good and some not so good. So the other week, for those who are on tonight, Davy David said, I'm trying to run away from Georgia too. Thank you so much for Davy for that comment. Davy is in the movie industry. So she shoots films and stuff like that with some of the big wigs. But thank you so much for tuning in, Davy. She says she lives in Ohio and work in ATL and she's tired. Yeah. We understand that, Davy. So Tiffany, you stated that some things were not so good.
Mhm.
And as I was stating previously before reading the comments, about a week or two ago, you and I were talking. And
Mhm.
I said, Tiffany, can you please provide me with a bio? And you replied with one word, huh? I said, huh? I'm like, yes. Do you have a bio? You said, I'm just me.
Yes.
That was your response. I'm like, I know that you're just you, but still you have a bio, you have a story. I said, what about your military career? So you text me some information about your military career, how long you were in the military. Then you shared with me, that you're married to your
Mhm.
hubby and
Yeah.
that you all have a blended family.
Yes.
And I kept responding. I said, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to hear. And then, boom, you dropped the ball on me. And my heart sunk. And
Why?
literally, my eyes just became so watery. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this happened to precious Tiffany.
Mhm.
So, Tiffany, I'm not going to tell the audience what you experienced, but Amari is on for a tag. She said, oh, hey, mama.
Now that's my son. Hey,
Oh,
Quantus.
I'm sorry. Lord, forgive me. I'm sorry. I should keep my mouth closed and let you
Oh
introduce your
no.
children.
No.
Okay, so tell to us about what you shared with me. It's Women's History Month.
Yeah.
Share your story as a warrior, a survivor. Let the audience know what took place to Tiffany.
So Tiffany, I think she has three facets. She has a little girl who's a little girl personality who's still searching for someone to be her safe place at times. She has this crazy, rebellious teenager, and
Mhm.
then she has this adult that's trying to corral all of the different girls and women and make sure, okay, we have to be an adult today. Let's move forward. And a lot of those different personalities are triggered from sexual abuse that happened to me at 4. And
Mm,
as difficult as that sounds, I think for me, as I'm telling it, I separate myself from the story, and it's just a story. It didn't really
mm,
happen to Tiffany, and I think that's how I survived. But one day, my mother's husband returned from a fishing trip. I was at
mm,
the neighbor's house, and he came to the neighbor's house to pick me up. And I looked at the neighbor and I was like, I don't want to go with him. And she was like, baby, I know, but you got to go. So I went
wow.
back to our house with him, and there was no one else at the home. And he raped me. The rape was so bad that I was hemorrhaging. So I filled up a foot tub with blood. While when my mom came in, I was sitting on that foot tub, and they were arguing whether or not he was going to allow her to take me to the hospital. I don't know what got into her, but she was like, forget it. I'm not going to keep standing here arguing with you. I'm just going to start walking and take her to the hospital. So I do know that is the reason why I'm still alive, is because of her decision to be like,
Mm,
she couldn't drive. She's never been able to drive. But her decision to just start walking down the street with me to get me to the hospital. He came along and eventually just dropped us off at the hospital. And I think I stayed in the hospital for maybe a month. They
wow.
told me because of the blood loss, I should have died, but I'm still here. And that I would never have kids because of the rape. Um, so that's something a lot of people don't know about me, because I'm always just this bubbly person that kind of goes with the flow and kind of tries to help everybody look at
Mm,
the brighter side of every situation and
mhm,
keep moving forward. So I guess I don't really talk about being a survivor, um,
mhm,
because, like I said, in order to survive, I had to separate that part of my life and the physical abuse I experienced at the hand of my mother and other
Wow.
people in my life, that I kind of just compartmentalized it and put it in a bottle and tucked it away. So that's the bad side of Tiffany, I guess. I don't know
Right.
what you would call it, but that was my trauma. And so I do tell a
Hmm.
lot of people I had PTSD before that was even a diagnosis,
Hmm.
because of that experience.
So at the age of 4 years old,
Mhm.
this evil act that took place with you as a little girl, were there signs? And I know you were little because you there had to be a sign for you to say, I don't want to go with him. And the
Mhm.
neighbor was like, okay. Did he exhibit any signs prior to him raping you?
So I think for me, the trauma, everybody's brain is so magnificent at protecting us and taking care of us that there are images that I see that I believe happened during that time leading up to the rape. Like I would have to sleep in the bed with my mother and her husband. And for the life of me, all these years, I never understood that because I would not allow that for my kids. And then I think that's one of the memories that I have that I think kind of was the sign leading up to that. But
Mm,
everything is besides that day in different scenes, like my sister and I going into the woods picking blackberries or climbing the tree, or me
mm,
taking out the we had a portable like hospital toilet. We didn't have
right,
we didn't have plumbing in the house. So
right.
every night it was my responsibility to take this bucket of waste to the outhouse. And
Wow,
if they made me angry, I would pour it on the side of the house, which is so bad, but that was just my way of getting back at them. But we were
right.
very, very poor, and those are some of the most pronounced memories that I have. But a
Mhm.
lot of things I don't know. I don't remember.
Wow. And before we continue, I want to read some of these comments. A few of them I flashed on the screen, but I want to recognize them. Your son sent some hearts showing some love. Renee sent a big hug to you. And of course, Tiffany is not only a survivor, but a conqueror. Jay said, man, woo, that's heavy. You're a blessing to be here. The audacity to live. I salute. I love that, Jay.
Thank
Sherry
you.
said, Tiffany, you are a testimony. She also stated, I hope the perpetrator went to jail for the rest of his life. Myra said, wow, thank you for sharing your story. You all 4 years old. A lot of times people see individuals, they see them smiling, they see the success that they're currently experiencing, but they don't know the backstory of some of the tumultuous times in their life and the things that they have experienced. Regina said, I can't imagine going through something like that. You were a child. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And you know what, Tiffany? And I know I can't project my story with yours, but I'm just going to share this. My mom and my dad, they were so strict on us. We were like, well, let me stay at this person's house. Let me stay at this person's house. They were like, no, you staying right home. You have a bed to lay in. I don't know these people. And regardless if you knew them or not, you just never can put it past people nowadays.
Yeah.
And even in your days, here's your mother, husband. Wow. Let's read. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Tiffany, before I read this next
And
comment?
yeah, I know my mother, my biological mother was mentally challenged. I didn't know that until I was in my late 30s, but
Wow.
I have heard stories about how she ended up with the gentleman and how she, because we were living in Alabama, like I said, we were dirt poor that we didn't even have plumbing in the house. We had electricity, but
Mm,
no plumbing.
right.
Um, and just her story of survival. I do know, even though in her crazy mind of all the things that she kind of did, I do have to give her respect
Mm,
because like I said, if she hadn't have decided I'm not going to listen to you crazy man, because she was abused as well, and
mm,
started that journey to the hospital, who knows what would have happened to me. um, but I do also know that there are other people out there probably similar to me that it's just not something I talk about. I do
mhm,
share it when I know there's a young lady or
mhm.
someone who could benefit from my story.
Right.
Just like I said, when I thought about her starting to go to the hospital, I had an epiphany probably at 40, like, wow, if she hadn't done that, I would have been dead. So why
Wow.
can't I forgive her? And so in sharing that or having that epiphany, I was able to share that with a young lady when we were
Mhm.
deployed that, hey, if I can forgive her, surely you can forgive this person that did this wrong to you. And
Mm,
because I think about the only reason I'm here is because of her, I should forgive and still give her that respect. We won't have a great relationship ever because of her mental challenge and just some of the things that I've experienced or we've experienced together. But I can respect and love her that
right.
saved my life.
So we're going to talk about the power of forgiveness, Tiffany, in just a minute, but I want to read some additional comments here. Denise Pearson stated, knowing her story strengthens me. I love her. Roderick said, wow, you're so strong. Denise also stated, you are truly one of my heartbeats. And even with all you have been through, you are amazing. That is so powerful. Those who are watching, please like and share this podcast. It can help so many individuals. Literally, it can empower so many individuals. So, as I stated, Tiffany, talk about the power of forgiveness. And then we have another question that just came through.
The power of forgiveness. So I've always heard it illustrated this way. When you don't forgive, then you're allowing that person that you're angry with to have power and control over you.
Mm,
So while
yes.
you're upset and pissed off and you can't get past it, they've moved on with their lives and you're the one that's stuck. And forgiveness is
Mm,
just not for them, it's mainly for you so that you can move forward with your life. And I do believe in the word of God, and it says, okay, if I can't forgive even the simplest things, that He can't forgive me. So uh,
wow.
I do know that I still struggle with that a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
but I just know that if I want to move forward, I want to be successful, I want to be an example for others, then I have to forgive. Even the gentleman that committed the act, I had to forgive him because
Whew.
that's what my mom taught me. My adopted mom, she always said, "Baby, you got to forgive. You just forgive
Yeah.
and let it go." I mean, it doesn't mean you forget, because I would have never put my kids in a situation like that. They were kind of like your parents were. I was very strict. You don't go over anyone's
Hmm.
house. Don't sit in
Hmm.
nobody's lap. Don't be hugging.
Right.
Yeah, I was that very strict mom, but um, I do realize it's for you and not the other person.
Wow. Wow. I want to read this comment here, and it says, do you think that her mental challenges are a result of her abuse? And I think this comment is in regards to your mother.
Yeah.
This. Mhm.
So me and my husband, we do have a lot of conversations, and him helping me to come on, Tiffany, I need you to work through
Yes.
this. Um, he always reminds me of, okay, think about what it was like for her. Now, her mother, I think, was diagnosed bipolar. My mother's diagnosed schizophrenia. Um,
Wow.
she was a young lady that I guess was trying to find herself. She found herself pregnant at 19 and she was asked to leave the house. So she had to fend for herself. My father was no longer in the picture. So this gentleman said, "Hey, I can provide you with a job and a place to stay. You just got to move to Alabama with me." And I think she was married when I was 3 months old.
Oh, wow.
So I do know that her upbringing, she repeated what she knew. Absolutely.
So
And not
how
the abuse, but just the abuse from her parents, like the verbal abuse, the physical abuse. So she just repeated that cycle because that's what she knew and that's what helped her to survive. So she did what she needed to do to survive.
I love that. I'm not even going to make the other statement that I was going to make. I'm going to read this next comment, actually, Tiffany. It says, don't forget to like and share this podcast. My sister works, for an example, it's showing Lenore Pores, but it's my sister. She's my tech person and she's behind the scene working the Lenore Pores platform. Harold said, awesome stuff. We all can learn. We absolutely can learn. And I like what you said, the power of forgiveness. We all have to work on the power of forgiveness. Now, Tiffany, this story that you expect that you just shared with us,
Mm-hmm.
this is one here. Is this your baby?
Yes.
My mother's story is one, and this kind of segue into what I was going to say. My mother's story is one that can inspire so many people, and I'm glad she was able to share. I'm so glad too that she's able to share with us. So, Tiffany, when I wrote your biography, I received a call that literally just kind of blew me away. And it was a gentleman by the name of Edward Jones, your husband. And he said, thank you, Lenore, for writing my wife's biography. And then he said, she shared it with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what do you mean shared it with the kids? He said that she shared that she was raped at the age of 4 years old with the kids. And he said, Lenora, I've been trying to get my wife to tell the kids what happened to her for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it take 15 years? What put you in this position after you read that bio? Because I was deciphering that information from you. And I give all glory to God for that. But I developed that bio and I sent it to you. You were like, no, Lenore, you don't have to send it to me. I'm like, no, I want you to read before I have it published.
Mm-hmm.
After you read that bio, what made you decide, hey, it's time to have the conversation with our children?
So it's like again, I said, it's not something I've ever really talked about,
Mm-hmm.
unless I knew it could help somebody else. Or, I think I was in a teen mom like facility home where they assisted us with food and a place to stay. And we had to attend group as I was a teen mom as well. We had to attend group. And I think one of the requirements or one of the assignments was to share your story. And I think that's the only other time that I've shared my story. I didn't want to tell my children because I didn't want them to, I, I guess the only way to say it is like feel sorry for me, or I didn't want to burden them with that knowledge. I
Okay.
wanted them to live and be happy and have experiences, and for them to see me as normal. And
Right.
I think telling them, especially when they were younger, may not have been something helpful. So all of them are adults now. I think the baby is going to be 21 this year. So just seeing it in that format and
Mm-hmm.
everything that I kind of had experienced, I think now if they read it, will maybe give them some insight into why mom was so crazy with all the rules and maybe why she
Mm-hmm.
was a little crazy herself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe that will help us to better our relationships because now they can kind of see, oh, it must have been difficult for her to
Mm.
be a mom when she never really
Right.
had the experience of learning how to be a mom or learning how to love and you know the various types of love she experienced is not normal in
Right.
yeah, but
So
yeah,
how
that
did they
scared it.
how did they process that, Tiffany? But before you answer that question, let me just read these statements. Bridget said that's real bravery. Absolutely real bravery. Patrice stated,
Yeah.
I love you with my soul.
Thanks,
Wow.
sis.
I can feel that. She loves you with her soul. How did your children process this when you broke the news to them? How did they process it?
Um, I I honestly don't know. I think they were very surprised. I'm sure
Mm,
a lot of them. They weren't surprised that I was a teen mom because my son Aquantis is in his 30s. I'm in my 40s. And they kind of understood, okay, something happened when mom was a young person, and that's why there isn't such an age difference. The girls, I don't think it really said anything. I think
okay.
my sons are the one that have made comments, and they were kind of just like, you know, liking um, the bibliography or biography and but I would love to kind of sit down with them and just talk about it because I want to hear their thoughts. I want
Yeah.
to know what they think and if they have any questions because now I feel like I can talk about it and not
Mm-hmm.
break down in tears and
Mm.
maybe they can now understand and maybe forgive some of the crazy that probably was a result of the trauma that they endured.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Sherry said, anybody who meets you know ain't nothing normal about you, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And Bridget Santiago said, facts, 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 facts. So before we transition a little bit and pivot from this particular subject, how important do you think it is for parents to engage with their children and talk to them about their body and making sure no one touches them and tell mama and certain how they say stranger danger. How important is it for parents to talk to their children? Not only that, but how important is it for parents to vet who they allow babysit their children and who they allow their children to go visit and have these little slumber parties and day parties and all these other things.
I think it's extremely important to one know who your children are going to be around. When I was dating, you could not come around my kids unless we were serious because if we're not serious and we're just having fun, then you don't need to meet them. Um, but for me, it was definitely very important for me to protect them from not having the same experience that I had because it does change the child, period. I don't care how much therapy you go to. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care how much love you give them. It changes them. It strips their innocence away. I did not allow my kids to go to sleepovers. If you want to have a sleepover, have your friends come to my house and mom will make sure it's very fun for everybody. We're going to do
Right.
stuff. But I just to avoid the trauma and to stop the cycle from repeating over and over again, I do believe it's very important to vet the people that are around your kids. If you know that the family uncle, family auntie, whoever
Mm-hmm.
has been accused, then you need to be mindful of that when you're going to various activities. And, it's not even just in the family. If they're, in sports, it could happen there. And being open and being able to communicate with them candidly, my kids know when
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have the come to Jesus meeting, we're going to have the candid talk. So we would get
Mm-hmm.
around the table and, you know, I don't think I did it as much as I would have liked to or should have, but we did have the sex talk. We talked about bodies. We talked about babies. They tell me sometimes, well, mom, you just said don't have sex. Well, yeah, I didn't maybe go into all the nitty gritty details, but we did have talks about their body and sexuality and all of that. And I think the more open you can be, because a lot of times, especially in my culture, it's taboo to
Right.
talk about it. But if you're not going to talk about it and they can't come to you and get clear, honest answers, you know they're going to see it on the internet. You know they're going to
That's
see it on
true.
social media. You know they're going to get information from their friends. So why not give them the truth when they need it up front so they don't have any questions? And maybe they can correct other people. But lastly, I'll say it's very important to believe your kids. A
Yes.
lot of parents, oh, uncle so and so, aunt so and so wouldn't really do that to you. No, you need to believe your kids and you need to investigate, and let the investigation run its course so that that child knows something happens to me. I'm not going to be treated like I'm a liar
Right.
or I'm making stuff up, that it's going to be taken seriously and I still have a safe place.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Renee said, I am glad that you included aunties along with uncles because women abuse children too, unfortunately. Absolutely, Miss Renee. Thank you for that. Sherry said it's very important to talk to their children about good touch and bad touch. As soon as they understand, use the correct terminology when talking about their body parts. Don't use nicknames.
Mhm.
My son ain't staying at no sleepover period, and the baby is a little over a month old. So she already, Caleb, when you're old enough to see this podcast, you might as well cancel it, son. It will
Yeah.
be on YouTube, so you might as well cancel it. I'm just telling you right now, at the age of 1 month old, your mama said you're not going to have any type of
No,
sleepovers. But
no.
she's so correct about that because kids need to know the correct terminology.
Yes, they
Because if
do.
they take a report, if a report is being made and they saying, these nicknames, they're going to think they're talking about something else. So they do need, parents need to teach their kids the correct terminology. And you know this person?
Aloma. Hi, Miss Aloma.
Aloma said yes. Renee said yes. Roderick said, you know it. So he's co-signing with his wife. No sleepovers, Caleb. Marquetta said, yes, always trust the kids, at least investigate. Family secrets kills the family. Marquetta, you are
Yeah.
so right about that. So you have to have a conversation. Tiffany, I have to talk about this person before we move to the next
Okay.
piece of this conversation. Talk about how monumental your husband has been in this process to getting you to share your story. Because I'm telling you, Edward
Oh,
thinks the world of you, Tiffany. He really does. I mean, he relished at looking at you and just knowing your story and knowing how your story is really going to help so many people. So many people. Talk about Edward Jones a little bit.
oh Lord, Edward Jones. That's my whole half. Um, so I think I told him pretty on early on in our relationship, just as a way to help him understand my crazy, about all the things that I experienced as a young person, at the hand of my rapist, my mother, her guy friends, all of it. Um, and he was always pretty surprised, like, wow, you went through all that. And then when we met, I had just went through a divorce. I have 4 kids, and I would be out in the yard mowing the grass and fixing stuff. And he's like, you know how to do all that? So I think just always kind of fascinated with this crazy independent woman, with this story, and was still ambitious and
Mm,
go getter. He's always still always encourages me to write a book. You have a book in you. You should write a book. I don't know if I'll ever do that.
Yes, you
Um,
will. And I have to lean in on that. Yes, you
I
will.
don't know if I'll ever do that, write a book, but I am open to, just letting it out. And I think this is a part of my healing. And I believe he felt
Mm,
this will be a part of my healing as well. It's been over 40 years. It's time to kind of just break out and not necessarily let everybody see the real Tiffany because I've always been real, but just to understand that this rough, crazy, funny exterior went through some things to get to where she is. And if I can do it, anybody can.
yes. Go, Edward Jones. When I first saw Edward, I was like, is he an investment, Edward Jones? But no, he was real estate. Renee said, kudos to hubby. It helps to have a supportive man. Praise the Lord. And it does to support. Yes, yes, yes. And also, I wanted to make this one. Hold on, I got to go up. But I'll go ahead and read this. Sherry said, make sure you make your children feel comfortable to have open conversation with you as a parent. That is so true. And Aloma said, hello, beautiful. Thank you for this. I flashed that on the screen earlier, but I wanted to read it out loud. And Patrice said, Ed is absolutely awesome.
She
He
wouldn't say
is.
that.
He is.
She loves him. Oh my
He
God.
is. He is. And Aloma said, write the book,
Okay,
honey.
we look, wait a minute. This the first step. We're gonna take baby steps, okay? Everybody hold up with the book now, cause
But let me tell y'all something. When I first met Tiffany, Tiffany was very reserved, and I think she was trying to figure me out while I was trying to figure her out. But then we finally like connected because I know her husband was like, this is a nice young lady, and I want her to make some connection with my wife because I know she can help my wife out just a itty bit, just a little bit. And y'all, from a bio, and she's the first person on my podcast for this new season. And we were just talking last year when my season was ending, and she was like, well, I want to go on and talk about Toys for Tots. I was like, Tiffany, my season has ended, Suge, and I'm not about to do another episode, not knowing that she will be sharing her story. So we just never know how God works, and it's just amazing. Bridget said, you are a beacon. Hashtag write the book. I agree, Bridget.
I love best friend, but we're not writing no book, okay?
And here it is again. Patrice said, yes,
I'm not writing a book right now.
write the book. So listen, Tiffany, you have a special place in your heart for children around the holidays. And you are the regional coordinator, is that correct?
No, just for the two counties,
Okay, just two
Cumberland
counties.
and
Okay.
Wilson County here.
Okay. Okay. Talk about your role as the coordinator for Toys for Tots and how did you even gain interest in that? I know you grew up poor. So sometimes when you grow up and you experience certain things, it provides a level of initiative for you to give back and make sure that others don't really experience what you experience. So talk about how did you get involved with Toys for Tots?
So as a kid, I remember getting toys from Toys for Tots, and the way you could see or you knew going to school the following week from Christmas that
Oh yes.
all the less fortunate kids got toys because everybody had the same toy. So one year, um, it rained the day we were supposed to go back to school, and everybody at the bus stop had on this orange little poncho that I know came from, Toys for Tots, and that was what was passed out because, they are able to sometimes get toys in bulk as donations. And I guess for me,
Mhm.
I always wanted to help less fortunate kids because I knew what that felt like. And
Mhm.
so for years, the kids and I and Ed, we would always take a tag off of the angel tree and I would have them
Mm.
go buy gifts for the kid. Don't just get anything, get something you would want. But
Right.
I came to be involved with Toys for Tots because Lisa, our business manager,
Yes.
in 2019 was like, hey guys, you are the face of the community. You need to get out. It was during the holiday season. Get out and do something special for the community. Give back. And so I was like, hey, I've always wanted to donate to Toys for Tots because I remember getting toys as a kid. And so I reached out to the coordinator at the time, Mr. Bennett, and he was like,
Okay.
sure, you can do an event or whatever. So we set up a toy drive at the downtown office when we had one. And we got pretty good response from the office. And he said, well, if you'd like to help me next year, just let me know. He said he was going to retire. And I was
Wow.
like, I'd really be interested in helping you. And so when the season ended, he said, well, do you want to be my assistant or take it over? And the
Oh,
ambitious
wow.
person that I am, I was like, oh, I'll take it over. And not knowing what I was going to get myself into. But I absolutely love it. I have one amazing volunteer that she kind of runs everything, Miss Renee. She runs everything, she handles everything, she wrangles the cats and myself as well. My husband, he's amazing. He's been there to support, go pick up toys, drop off toys. And my daughter, Maya, and my son have all become involved. But I really enjoy being able to not just provide that one single item that every kid in that age group is going to get, but actually going out,
Right.
purchasing what is some of the hottest toys. Can I afford to buy them? Fine, then we're going to make sure these babies have a great Christmas, and it's going to be something they'll enjoy showing their friends that they got. And even if it's just two toys, it's two more than they may would have had. So I just aspire to keep growing it. I do want to be able to one day just have all the families sign up and come through like a round robin and help maybe 20,000 kids. Because
Mm.
believe it or not, in Robeson County, it is one of the most poverty counties that we have in
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina. Even in Cumberland County with soldiers, E4s and below, they don't really make a whole lot of money. So we can support them as well. Um, but I love it. I don't think I'll ever stop. And even if I have to spend all my own money, I probably would and let it kill me just to make it
This
happen because I really love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
love it, Tiffany, and I'm sure the children enjoy it too. Because I can remember, it was five of us. My dad was the only one working, and honey, when we got back from the Christmas holidays, I used to tell people, "Yeah, I got some clothes and some money, honey. We got some Barbie dolls." My daddy worked for Frito Lay at that time. We got Barbie dolls in a cardboard box that says Frito Lay, and those Barbie dolls were from the thrift stores. But we were happy. We'll
Yes.
get a little bit of money. We'll say, "Oh, we got some money." So it was just different ways for us to kind of like mask that we really didn't get a whole lot for Christmas, but we
Yeah.
got something.
Yeah.
I want to read these comments as we're coming really close to our time to end the
Yeah.
podcast. Renee said, "I can help with the writing and publishing process. Do it, please." And you have to look up Miss Renee Stokes Gibbs. She is a heavy hitter in our community, honey.
Okay.
Yes. She said, "I have to sign off for now, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great rest of your night, everyone." Thank you so much, Miss Renee. Edward Jones, they're going to hashtag. They're going to hashtag. Write the
Don't put
book.
that on my Facebook. I'm gonna delete it.
Denise said, "Write the book, Gina." Ooh, that's your
Oh,
nickname.
that's yeah. Miss Denise is my best friend, and I have called her Gina ever since I met her. We've probably been knowing each other for 15 years.
Okay. Good stuff. Denise said, "Bless others that may benefit from your story." Girl, we still getting to write the book up in here. Ministry is beyond the four walls of the church. Absolutely. And she definitely does that. Patrice said, "Absolutely." Aloma said, "Indeed." And let's see who this person is. I'm going to get here. Tiffany Jones, equal inspiration and role model. Thank you for sharing your story and being the example of a servant leader. Pronounce the first name for me.
Sapria.
Sapria, thank you so much, Sapria, for that. And here is your baby back saying, write the book, start the podcast, let's start the channel. Honey, you got so much support here on tonight. It's Women's History Month. Tiffany, name one woman that you will say, well, you can give, two if you want to, that has been very influential in your life.
Gloria Thomas, Deshandra Weaver, Rosalind Muse, Patrice Washington, Denise Pearson. I'm probably gonna miss somebody, so I'll stop there.
So many people have been very influential in your life, so many women. And if you could leave a word of encouragement to pour into the individuals who are listening as we slightly come to our end of this podcast. See, it went by fast, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It really did. What is some words of inspiration that you would like to share to those who are listening on tonight, Tiffany?
Believe in yourself, regardless of what it looks like, and have faith that even though you may not be able to see how things will turn around or how your dreams will come to fruition, just have faith and put one step in front of the other until you get there.
I love that. I love that. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's podcast. I want to make a brief announcement here. On April the 30th, 2022, Lenore Pours presents Sister Pour Out Heart. Heart meaning hurt, E, emotions, A, anger, R, resentment, T, truth. And listen, Tiffany is going to be there as well. So we're super excited that she was the first one actually that purchased a ticket for the event. Tickets are still on sale. Please visit my website, www.lenorelasseter.com. And I do have to sport my Lenore Pours tees. Y'all see that girl at the bottom and the top on this thing? That's me. And you can purchase some tees on my website. Again, I just gave that to you, but I'll give it to you again, www.lenorelasseter.com, and go get you some merch. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and you all take care.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's porn session as much as I did. Listen, please share with your family and your friends. And if you want to find out more information about Lenore Pours, please visit our website, www.lenorelasseter.com, to find out how I and our team can partner with your organization or to partner with you. I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, remember, you are born for a purpose, and that purpose is to pour into the lives of others.